to my channel. I am the Mass Trans, and you are watching me, baby. Now, before we get today's video started, I just want to give a quick what's up to my peeps, and I also want to give a well-deserved middle finger to the creeps. You know who you are. Alright, let's talk about Chasing LA, Season 1, Episode 7. We are one episode shy of the season finale. Now, before we talk about Chasing LA, I want to talk a little bit about what's been going on in the background. For those of you who may not be aware, there's been a whole lot of hubbub happening in the background between Q, the producer of Chasing LA, Imani Van Zap, Reese G, and others from the franchise. And basically, Q doesn't feel supported. He feels like Imani has been giving an unfair weekly assessment of Chasing LA, and doesn't feel that that's fair due to the fact that Imani was very involved in the casting of these particular persons. So therefore, I believe that's one of the reasons why Imani Van Zap will not be hosting the reunion special. I'm almost thinking that it might be T.S. Madison. I heard T.S. Madison talking the other day about going out to LA, and I thought to myself, I wonder if she's going to be hosting. But anyhow, I digress. So I just want to say this to you, Q, right quick. Q, you did your thing, right? I don't care about what Imani Van Zap has to say, Reese G has to say, whomever has to say. Chasing LA was entertaining. And that was the purpose. And I can tell you, as a viewer, I have been thoroughly entertained the entire season. So whatever the haters have to say, tune that nonsense out, Q, and keep doing your thing. Whenever you're shining, heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? So when you're doing good things, when you're doing great things, people are always going to have something to say. But I want you to know, as a viewer, I absolutely love this season. I cannot wait for season 2. I personally think that Chasing LA was better than Chasing Atlanta. You know what I mean? And it's not even about the drama. There was so much that I got from the season with Hershey LaCour and the revelations that he made. So much that I learned about the whole gender non-conforming and them, they, there, and those conversations. There was a lot that I, as a trans woman, actually learned from this season. So I don't care what other people have to say. I love the season. I think you did a great job, and I just want you to know that from a viewer standpoint, we love it. Keep doing you. Now, back to the show. Chasing South Central. Listen, the girls in LA are not playing, okay? And it's really, one more thing before I go back to this review. It's really interesting that, they keep drawing these comparisons as if the Atlanta cast is somehow superior in terms of behavior to the LA cast. Now, calling me wrong, calling me crazy, and it's no shade, but LaKendra has been to jail. The cast has been fighting on reunion specials. Like, the same behavior that's happening here in LA is the same behavior that's happening down in Atlanta. Like, I don't understand why, for some reason, they're making this sort of demarcation between the Atlanta girls and the LA girls, as if the LA girls are, what did Iyanla Vanzant call Nephi? Gutter snipe. Like, LA girls are killing it. So, and no shade to the Atlanta girls, because I live for the Atlanta girls too. But I just have to say, I just don't understand what this sort of, competition thing is about. So anyhow, the episode begins with everyone, not everyone, but the D. Hawkins clique all linking up at his house. You have the Flag King Eye, you have Andre, you have Fran, and of course D. Hawkins, who's there getting cupped. Has anyone done that cupping process? I'm sort of thinking about whether or not I want to give that a shot. Grab a hold of these cakes, honey, and give them a little lift, honey. But we need to fight gravity in every way possible. So I'm thinking about that little cupping thing that D. Hawkins was doing. So D. Hawkins is getting his body sculpting, and he's getting, getting smoothed out. And the girls come over, and he's got hors d'oeuvres and stuff, a little crudité laid out for the children. And of course, they talk about the previous event where Jayla threw the drink in Andre's face. And, there's a whole conversation about Jayla being financially distressed and having to put up a GoFundMe, which I thought was in poor taste. Jayla, if I find that GoFundMe, trust me, your sister's going to donate to you. And there was also a conversation about her not being able to pay for the damages that she caused. And, I don't know, just all this conversation around money, which to me is just, let me tell you something. People who have real money are not tripping off of a dry cleaning bill. They just simply aren't. And people who have real money don't spend all day talking about how much money they have because they're too busy making more money. So anytime I hear somebody talk about how much money they have, how fab they are, this, that, and the third, it lets me know that that's really your insecurity. Or that's really where your value lies. Like, you don't have anything else to offer outside of money and trying to make yourself appear a level or a rung above those who you see less fortunate than you because that makes you feel better. And money will never do that. So anyhow, they talk about Jayla, and then they all agree to go to King Payne's launch party for his hair product. Shout out to King Payne. I love to see, you know, Black, queer, LGBTQIAP entrepreneurs doing their thing. Again, I would support the product. I'll have to look and do some research and find the product. But if I do find the product, I'm definitely going to support the product. So I love seeing that. You know, so he's hosting a launch party. Now, one of the things that was really interesting to me about this particular launch party is that no one was there. Now, this might have been a production challenge that I was speaking of earlier. Now, I'm not sure if the capacity was limited just due to COVID restrictions, and so maybe production only allowed those people on set who had been cleared with a COVID test. So therefore, you didn't have other clients that might be outside, you know, that might be King Payne's clients outside of the cast, but it just looked a little sparse, this particular event. But King Payne threw an event. The girls came out to support. Jayla was there. Alicia was there. Quan showed up. Jeremy showed up. Who else was there? Of course, King Payne was there with his event. I believe Fly King I got there a little early. So, of course, everyone keeps rehashing the fight from the previous event, right? So, King Payne starts throwing shade at Jeremy, and the Black King I is basically, not Jeremy, starts throwing shade at Andre, and Black King I is basically defending Andre and saying, hey, you know, not my homie. We won't be doing that. And so in walks, at some point, Jeremy, why don't you call the child? Andre and Fran, and this is where calamity ensues. So we're here at the King Payne launch party, right? So everyone's there. Well, first of all, before we talk about that, while they were at the event, King Payne had Quan come up and do a poem. And let me say this to Quan. Quan murdered that poem. I was like, okay. Quan had me pulling out my pen and paper. I'm like, oh no, I got to get my poetry slam on. I absolutely love the poem Quan dedicated to cisgender women, transgender women of color. I love the inclusive message. I just thought it was a really, really great moment. You know, and people really try to downplay what Quan does, but you know, I haven't seen what Fran does. I know Dia Hawkins does pretty much everything, which people give him a hard time for, and I don't understand. Once again, you know, I see Dia Hawkins as a hustler, right? If this isn't working or if that's not working, look, you have to have a couple irons in the fire. So you can be an interior decorator, you can be a model, you can be a caterer, you know, you can be whatever you want to be, wear as many hats as it takes to get that rent paid. Wear as many hats as it takes to stay up out of eviction court, okay? So if that's what D. Hawkins needs to do, let D. Hawkins do what D. Hawkins needs to do. So I don't see anything wrong with him having multiple revenue streams or with him throwing multiple things at the wall to see what sticks. I think that that's smart. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. You don't have to be one-dimensional. So I don't have a problem with D. Hawkins wanting to do multiple things. So Quan does his poem. Poem was absolutely amazing. Up next is Jayla. Jayla's about to sing a song. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little nervous. I was like, dear God. Because see, I know some people love to watch a train wreck, but I hate to see people embarrass themselves. I just hate it with a passion. I cannot stand, you know, even on American Idol, when you see the bad singers come up, you know, a lot of people find it really funny, but I just think about what that's going to do to that person long term. You know what I mean? Having people constantly make fun and make light of their lack of talent. So when Jayla was up to sing, I was just like, dear God, please let it be good. And it was. She did a song called Roll Up. I looked for the song on iTunes but couldn't find it. I don't know if it's on Spotify. But definitely check out Jayla's song, Roll Up. Great song. I don't smoke weed, so not really in my wheelhouse, but I'll still support the song because it's still something I can ride to. You know, I can still, you know, get my groove on. So Jayla does her song. The kids are there. Hershey LaCour is there. Did y'all catch how they tried to pull Hershey LaCour into that drama? Hershey LaCour has managed to fly under the radar for the most part with nothing but goodness this entire season. And the kid said, what you will not do is walk out here with clean hands, baby. We are in Nicki Minaj mode, baby. You need to pick a side, pick a side. So they tried to pull Hershey LaCour into the drama, but she still managed to bob and weave, asking her about the previous event. So anyhow, so Jayla does her number. In walks D. Hawkins wearing this very Prince-inspired bolero style hat with lace trimming around it. And also Fran, right? So they walk in and D. Hawkins is throwing subs at Quan, right? And Quan said, what you want to, baby? Baby, it's throwing subs in my way, baby. Say my name, say my name. And so D. Hawkins said, you. So the two of them start exchanging words. You know, Quan has to have high blood pressure. Quan's blood pressure has to be through the roof, baby, because Quan, when he gets upset, baby, he goes to from 0 to 10 real quick. So Quan is going off, girl. You can see the veins popping in his neck. You know, his eyebrows are bulging. He's foaming at the mouth. Quan goes ballistic when he gets upset. So him and D Hawkins are trying to get at each other. And did you clock, if you watch the show, all the poor Hispanic people in the background who came to cook the food, make the tacos and stuff, they're just sitting here looking at like, look at these crazy homosexuals. Look at these crazy homosexuals. Can't act right nowhere. Can't take them nowhere, honey. So they're watching in the background as Quan and D Hawkins go at it. I don't know who I really side with on this one, right? Because I feel like what D Hawkins did was messy. But I also feel like what Quan did was messy, right? So D Hawkins didn't have a right to try to set Jeremy up. And Quan didn't necessarily have good intentions by going back and telling Jeremy what D Hawkins' intentions were. So I don't know. It's the lesser of two evils for me. It's the lesser of two evils. Like, girl, I don't care. I mean, personally, I lean more towards Quan just because I like his artistry more. But, you know, me just being the unbiased person that I am, I think both of them were messy, and mess begets mess. Okay? So, the two of them get into it, and ultimately you see them wind up taking it outside of the event for King Payne. And really quick side note, why is King Payne always wearing a coat? Sis must have anemia or something, girl. This was your event, King Payne. You're supposed to come in here, baby, letting the girls have it, and you came in here looking like you were about to do laundry. Like, I need more. I need more, sis, because what you were given just was, it's not that, what you were given was not enough for it to be your event. You know, you were supposed to turn all the way up, and I didn't see that. But anyhow, so they start going back and forth, and they go outside, and we don't really get to see what happens, but it looks like in next week's episode, the season finale, that somehow Alicia gets pulled into the drama. And I don't know if it was Alicia versus Andre or Alicia versus Fran, but from what I could tell in the preview, it looks like Alicia pulled the knife and was like, baby, try me if you want to. And when I saw that, I said to myself, I don't like that, friend. Friend, I don't like that. We don't be pulling knives out on people. First things first, if you pull it, you better use it. Okay? That's my motto. If you're going to pull it, use it. So I don't know what happened. And then I thought it was in bad taste for Alicia to pull out the knife. And then when I started thinking back, I'm like, well, damn. Last week, Fran did pick up a chair. Yes, Fran did pick up a chair. So Fran technically did introduce weaponry into the fray long before Alicia did. And see, something else people may not understand, right? Let me give you a little bit of trans education. Now, there are several levels to your transition, right? So you can be trans identified, right? Where you may still be male appearing, you may not, or female appearing, depending on whether you're a female to male trans or male to female trans. So you may still appear as your assigned gender. Now, we're talking specifically about male to female transgender. So I just want you to keep that in mind here. So if you are in fact trans identified, you don't necessarily have to have taken a hormone, have to have had any cosmetic surgery. You can still be very much in your male appearing self. Now, some people take it further, and they may have hormone therapy, HRT, hormone replacement therapy. They may have a bilateral orchiectomy, which is essentially being detestified. They may have SRS, or they may decide not to have SRS. So there are several different permutations of being of transgenderism, if you will. So I say that to say that when you see Alicia pulling a knife, for me, right, I'm not gonna let you guys know everything that I have done, but you can clearly see that it's soft, you know, it's supple. So when it comes to me matching the strength of a cisgendered male, I just simply don't have it. I simply don't have it, okay? So I don't stab, I don't cut, I shoot. Stabbing is way too personal. You know, if I stab you, that means I got to get up close, I got to feel the knife going through flesh, and I don't have time for all of that. So I'm a shooter. I'm a shooter. You know, well, first of all, I'm a confrontation avoider, right? Like, I'm a firm believer, and you can say whatever you want to say, just don't put your hands on me. And you can say whatever you want to say, but just be prepared for me being able to say whatever I want to say. Because, see, that very often is the problem, right? People want to say whatever they want to say, but when you come back, baby, when you come back, they're not ready for all of that. You know what I'm saying? They want you to be this mousy, submissive, subservient, beat down, downtrodden individual who doesn't really have a backbone, and they don't expect for you to be lethal with those words. And so when you come back and you embarrass and shame them, oh, now they want to fight. Well, girl, I just told you I don't bite. I'm about that pow pow life. I'm about that pow pow life. I got no time to be fighting, getting cut, and no time for that. So when I see Alicia, and let me bring this full circle for you guys. So when I see Alicia with the knife, even though I didn't like the optics of it, I'm like, well, damn. Fran picked up a chair. You don't know where she is in her transition, whether she's had sexual reassignment surgery, whether she's been castrated, whether she's on HRT. And with HRT, you receive what are called anti-androgens, which are essentially testosterone suppressants, which again make you a lot less stronger than that of a cisgendered male. So she's at a disadvantage. So when she pulled the knife on second, even though I didn't like the optics, I'm like, you know what? I don't necessarily approve, but I understand. Now, I personally wish she would have just walked away. But at some point, you got to act like you live in Florida and stand your ground. Like, I am like a tree that's planted by the water. I shall not be moved. Amen. Amen. So, in that sense, I could understand Alicia's position. I just hate the fact that gay men and trans women or non-gender conforming persons and trans women can't get along, man. Like, it's just so whack to me. It's so whack. Like, we should be a support system to one another, And I see it from both sides, right? Just because I'm trans, I'm not going to sit here and, give trans women a pass, because I see some trans women who feel because they've transitioned that they are somehow above gay men. And I see some gay men who feel like because they haven't transitioned and because they're in their assigned gender, that they're somehow less of a freak than a transgender person. Do you get what I'm saying? And the reality is that society as a whole sees us all as freaks. You know what I mean? And so I don't necessarily buy into the propaganda of thinking that, I'm better than anyone. Gay, straight, black, white, trans, non-binary, whatever. To me, we're all on a level playing field. And usually, it's so funny to me because usually the thing that people use to gauge whether or not they're above somebody is trade. And baby, you can't measure a goddamn thing by trade. I don't know how, if trade is around, you need to be watching your purse, watching your keys, watching your TV, baby. Like, you should have other things on, because some people think that because they're trans and they're dating this quote unquote hetero-identified man, that somehow they're better than a gay man. And some gay men think, oh, you sleeping with a trans, that means, oh, you're getting ready to come over here and play for this team. And some men are very comfortable over here and will never step over. And some men over here on this team will be, y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know exactly what I'm saying. So, we have to be a more unified community, especially, and it's sad because I don't know if this happens in the Caucasian community, at the Caucasian LGBTQ community, but I haven't really seen it. Comment below if you are white trans, white gay male, what have. I'm really curious to hear whether or not this is something that is just indicative of the African American LGBTQIAP plus community. Anyhow, you guys, I've taken up more time of yours than I deserve, but this episode of Chasing LA was so good. I just had to come and talk to you guys about it. Before I go, please remember to support Black LGBTQIAP queer content creators. Support Black content creators in general. Remember to ask yourself this question: why be bitter when you can be better, baby? I'm the Mass Trans, and I will talk to you guys again in my next video. You guys have an amazing day. Mwah.